What is going on, guys? Broken Machine here. Hope you guys are all doing good today. Welcome to a new tutorial. This one's going to be completely unscripted, and we're going to be looking at the topic of tips for those struggling at Battlefield 5. Now this one is going to be for new players and seasoned veterans alike. Lots of tips here, and I'd love to hear yours down below actually. So if you have any of your own for those struggling at BF5, maybe you're a completely new player or a seasoned veteran but in a slump, do let us know down below in the comments. So first things first, if you haven't set up your settings, do check out my guide. Follow that, it'll take you like 10 to 15 minutes and you'll be sorted. For those veteran players out there, do not change your settings. This is a really bad habit to get into. I know I really want to change my settings, especially when I'm doing poorly. You know, I just got that itch. I want to go into the menu and change everything, but don't. It is a real bad habit. The only thing you should be changing if you're struggling is your crosshair color. This can actually really help you out, and I would recommend a pinky purple. It's quite contrasty. It looks kind of okay, and it doesn't get in the way. Do recommend it. You'll see it in some of my gameplay on this channel. And yeah, anyway, enough of the settings. Now, if you're really struggling, one class I'd highly recommend is the medic. Now I know a lot of you people are gonna be like, the medic class? Are you for real, Broken Machine? What are you talking about? It is the weakest class in the game. I agree, it kinda is, but also it is incredibly underrated. See, the thing about the medic class is, you can get a kill, you can take a couple of bullets, and then go off and heal yourself pretty much unlimited times. Whereas the other classes, once you've lost that med pack, you've got to go find a teammate that's also a medic. Probably not going to happen unless you're lucky, or make your way across open areas to a resupply station. So the medic class, you can get hurt, get back into the action, rinse and repeat, and you're good to go. So if you're really struggling at the game at the minute, do give the medic class and that kind of playstyle a go. Honestly, when I'm struggling, that's what I do. It gets me back into the game, gets me back into the feel, and I'm good to go in no time at all. Now the medic class weapon's obviously not the best, so you want to stick to kind of close to medium range and do go for headshots if you've got the aim. I'll put up a couple of recommended loadouts on screen if you're totally new to the game, but I would recommend the Suomi for close range and the MP34 and MP40 for mixed engagements at various ranges. They work pretty well on most maps. Now, secondly, when it comes to flags, a lot of people aren't that great at capping them. I've definitely seen it in some top plays clips, so I've got some advice to help out those struggling to cap flags and, you know, stay alive on them. So, first things first, think of each flag like the hangar on Aerodrome. It's one massive area. Most flags are pretty big, I guess. I guess most of them are pretty. And think of it like this: if you go for the front of the flag, like the front entrance on the hangar, you leave yourself vulnerable to multiple angles of attack. That is, you can get shot from various places and probably not going to survive. So what you want to do is try to avoid that. Don't always attack the flag from head on. Try to flank if you can, and if you can flank all the way behind, that can be really helpful, but do be aware you risk walking into the enemy spawn. Enemies in this game tend to spawn behind the flag unless they have teammates on the actual flag or the flag is pretty big, so do keep that in mind. So a few tips there: avoid attacking flags from head on, try to flank in the middle if you can, and all the way around the back if possible. Also, do remember, you don't have to cap the flag on the first go. So many people make this mistake. I know I'm guilty of it, especially, you know, recently on streams. I've been rushing to flags and trying to cap it on the first go. Really bad idea. What you want to do is jump on the flag, see how many people are there, and then decide from there. And you know, sometimes it is better to jump off flag. So if you're completely new to the game, don't be just jumping straight on the flags. You know, take your time, see what's going on around you, and then decide. Also, movement. A lot of people, their movement is very stiff. You don't want to be one of those players. You know, you gotta move in this game, especially when you're in a gunfight. Good tips: try and crouch if you can. That's where you just crouch, or crouch bounce. So that's where you bounce up and down. You know, obviously you can crouch run everywhere. So if you press the crouch button, you can crouch run, and you won't be such a big target on your opponent's screen. Do recommend doing that as much as possible. Also, play in a squad if you can. If you're totally new to the game, highly recommend playing in a squad. If you leave your gamer tag down in the comments below asking for people to squad up, I'm sure there are many members of the community who'd love to do that. And also on Fridays, there is this thing called Friday Night Battlefield. Add a hashtag into that and search for it on Twitter. And there is lots of people in the community who are joining up on servers together, and you'll find plenty of friends there. So do recommend playing in a squad if you can, even if you're a seasoned veteran. Especially if you're in a struggling, slumpy kind of experience of the game at the minute. I know I am, so I'm going to be trying to play in a squad more often. Alright, next up, not pushing. You don't have to push all the time. I see a lot of players just constantly trying to push up the map over and over. Don't always do that. It can be very risky, especially in BF5 with how open the maps are and how defensive the playstyles tend to be on the majority of the maps actually. So don't try to be pushing forward constantly. You know, always be trying to find a different route. Flank again as much as possible. Zigzag, take different angles, whatever it may be. You don't want to rush forward because, you know, obviously you're just going to run into multiple lines of sight and probably be taken out. Also, if you notice your team isn't really pushing up, you know, don't try to push up too much. Try to stay with them if you can. I'm not saying, you know, hug them all the time and stay with them, but you know, if your team is moving up the map together, it might be a good idea to tag along. If you're a new player, it's a good idea to try and just be a couple of rows back, you know, just behind your teammates, not always on the front line, and then you can kind of get a feel for the pacing of the game. You know, if you're a new player and you're struggling, or even if you're just in a slump, you know, sometimes it's good to just take a moment back, get a feel for the game, see what's going on, try and fit in. You know, sometimes we gotta remember, you know, it is about trying to fit into that role. You know, maybe right now that aggressive role right up in your opponent's faces isn't the role for you. You need to take a step back, be the more defensive player, be the backup, the support, the sniper, whatever it may be. You know, just take your gameplay down a few notches, take your time, all that jazz. Hope I explained that right. It felt like I was going off a tangent there. Anyway, you know what I mean. Also, check out the area first. You'll notice this with my sniping clips. I often try and look what's going on ahead and then decide, you know, maybe I should take out that guy first and then go from there. A lot of people aren't doing this. I know, because when I see them running out in open areas, you know, they just shoot the first target they see. Don't be that player. Take your time. You know, figure, you know, maybe if I shoot the sniper there, I can get past the next set of enemies, or I can cross that open map. But if you just go for the first guy you see, you might leave yourself vulnerable. This is especially important when you're flanking or in a busy area. You gotta take your time. You gotta be thinking, okay, if I take out this player, can I get to this part of the map? Nope. Don't take out that player. Come around the side, do something else. You know, try to keep your options open. If you just shoot for the first target, you limit your options. Probably gonna die, probably not gonna push up the map, and not gonna help out your team. Also, if you're struggling, it's a good idea to remember to cover and conceal yourself as much as possible. Try to put something in between you and the enemy. BF5 is a more defensive game, so you need to be doing this more often. It could be anything, a rock, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just put something in front of you and the enemy. And also keep in mind that other players are going to be doing this as well, especially on maps like Twisted Steel, where there is a lot of rocks, a lot of bushes and whatever. It's not always something to stop bullets. It's kind of stuff to just conceal yourself, you know, stop you being seen. So always be thinking about that. A lot of people, you know, they're just kind of rushing out into the open. They don't think about these things. Do try to think about it, and do be aware of your opponents doing the same. Again, on maps like Twisted Steel, watch out for the bushes. A lot of people are hiding in them. Be prepared for that. Again, take a moment to check what's ahead of you, see what's going on, check the bushes, and then proceed. Do remember also that the flags aren't going anywhere. You know, they don't suddenly change and disappear. You have time. Do take your time. Don't rush for the flags. You don't have to cap them all the time. You don't have to jump on them on the first go and try to cap it on the first go. You can always come back later. Always keep that in mind, you know. Often it is a good idea to trip the flag, see where the opponents are, see how many people are on the objective area, and then come back. Do keep that in mind. That is a very important strategy, and I know when I'm struggling and I'm not in the zone, this is something of a bad habit of mine that really keeps me back. really holds me back, sorry. Again, mindset, stay calm, stay cool, don't look at the scoreboard. This is such a bad habit. I know some of you are going to say, but Broken Machine, you're always checking the scoreboard. And for me, there is various reasons. One, I'm streaming, so it's kind of for entertainment, so the stream can see my score. Also, sometimes I'm not actually looking at this I'm not actually looking for my score. I'm just trying to see the kind of bigger picture of the game. If the enemy team is just absolutely dominating and the KDs are really high, I know the enemy team is probably tougher than the average player that you usually run into. So there are various things going on there in my own gameplay. But anyway, so mindset, do try to stay cool, forget about the scoreboard, and just enjoy the game. I find you actually play better when you just kind of forget about these things and play better overall in the long term as well. Improve at the game in the long term. If you don't really care so much, you're just there, okay, I'm going to play, I'm going to do my best, try to improve, and go from there. I noticed this myself, and you can see it in my own videos actually. I was streaming the other week, and I managed to drop a 32 kill streak without any revives on Fiel. A really difficult map to do so. Not many people have done a streak that high, not on that map anyway, and I was actually shocked at the end of it. I was like, wow, 32 kill streak. I was so in the zone and just enjoying the game and just trying to play my best, not being super sweaty or tryhardy, just being in the moment, and I completely forgot about the score, and I was so shocked. And, you know, sometimes you just gotta be in the game to play your best. Don't be checking the scoreboard or try harding too much. Just be in the game. Just do your best in the moment. You know, don't worry about what's gonna happen next too far ahead. Obviously, you want to worry about the next few things, but, you know, don't be too concerned with the scoreboard or the end results or anything like that. Just do your best. One thing I like to do is kind of just detach myself in some way. Try to not get so emotionally involved in the score, in dying, and that really helps not being frustrated. And, you know, being frustrated, one of the worst things you can do. Absolute worst. You know, again, squad up with others. That'll help if you're really struggling. There's little things like, you know, make sure you are upgrading your weapons in the menus. A lot of people aren't. Make sure you do that. Just need to go to the armory and all of those menus at the beginning. If you're really struggling at the game, particularly in the conquest and bigger modes, do check out domination. That mode is perfect. You can get a lot of kills in that game. Often I see like 60, 70, 80, 90, even 100 games. It does go on for a while. There's lots of combat, lots of mixed situations, and various playstyles going on, and it's really great to just get used to the game without being dominated by vehicles and open maps all of the time, as you often see in Conquest or even Breakthrough and Grand Operations. So these are all my tips for today. Obviously there is much more to discuss, loads more to discuss, but I do really hope just this short video helps you guys out. Again, it is unscripted. I feel like I've done pretty well here. This is kind of an exercise for me as well. I'm trying to improve my tutorials. The majority of them have been scripted because I just can't do it. I'm just not that confident kind of person who can just roll along with it, you know. I actually really struggle, whereas with my commentaries, I'm actually quite chill. I find them quite easy to do, quite easy to sit there, talk, play the game, give advice as I go along, all that jazz. But I'm trying to improve on my tutorials, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you found it helpful. Do drop a like if you did, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to drop some tips down below. I'd love to hear them, and let me know what else you'd like to see on this channel. Anyway guys, drop a like if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.